up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some of Will Fuller's route running. I'm going to be talking about how you guys can get some separation on these deeper routes and how you guys can make these plays downfield by getting a DB's hands off you and fighting those hands at the top of the route and then throughout the route. So this is going to be a great video for you guys to get better at route running, just being able to understand the concepts of route running and how you guys can use this to your advantage and structure your own routes, okay? And guys, if you're a receiver and you want to get better hands, you want to improve your catching ability, guys, check out that link in the description. It says improve your hands in 30 days, full 30-day program to help you guys improve your hands. We got grip strengthening exercises. We got hand-eye coordination drills, everything that you can do on your own without a quarterback to get better hands. All right, let's get started with this breakdown. Again, link in the description to check that out. So first things first, when we got to run anything where I'm deep and any kind of deep route where I got to beat this guy over the top, and Fuller's got some speed, right? So it's very important that we understand the concept of attacking leverage and trying to get a DB on his heels, because if we have speed, if we're faster than this DB and we know that we're faster than this DB and we get him on his heels a little bit, we're going to be able to keep him guessing and we're going to be able to create some separation, right? So let's watch this thing full speed, then we'll break it down. So Fuller comes off the line, kind of slows this DB down, attacks his leverage, and then explodes upfield, up into this route to get this DB, or just to get some separation from this DB, right? So when we come off the line of scrimmage here and we attack him, we square him up, right? There's a couple different things that you can do, right? So when you come off the line, you could go out fast. And this, again, it brings us back to the video that I did a couple days ago where we talk about changing tempo, right? When you come off the line and you come off fast, and you maybe just give this guy a quick 1-2 or a quick foot fire and then go. He thinks he's got your speed down. He thinks that, okay, I'm kind of getting used to this. I mean, the whole entire game, they're trying to read your speed. They're trying to get a gauge on how you like to play things or how you like to structure your route. So throughout the game, they could get a feel for you and be able to cover you and cut down that separation, right? So maybe now they feel like you're in a game. You feel like this DB's starting to get your speed. He's starting to get my speed. He's starting to get my timing. He's starting to close that separation on these routes. I got to have something else in my tool belt to be able to come out with. So this hesitation, like almost skip right here that Fuller does, this hesitation hop, then throws that jab to the outside, changes up the tempo for this DB, and especially while we're coming off the line and while we're hesitating, we're kind of getting a feel on this DB. How's he going to play me? How's he going to read this thing? So you see when Fuller comes off the line here, he's very patient, and you see how this DB shuffles outside and he kind of takes away this outside release, right? Reason why is he doing that? He's probably got some help over the middle. He's probably got safety help. He's probably got some kind of zone coverage concept over the middle to where he's not afraid to give up the inside. He's not afraid to chase him across the field. So, and I close that gap with him and I get him to sit on those heels, but I see that he takes away the outside. All right, fine. Let's just take the inside release. Let's just take what he gives me, and then I work to get up to the top of this route, right? This is a great job by Fuller being patient off the line, right? Patient, close the distance, get him on those heels, go from 0 to 100. Burst upfield, let's fight those hands, get those hands off. Fuller does a great job of combating hands. If you're a receiver and you struggle with maybe fighting hands off the line, at the top of the route, throughout the route, getting this DB to not be able to touch you, Will Fuller is a great guy to watch and a great guy to study, okay? Because he does a great job of being able to create separation with his hands. We get this DB on his heels, his only way to recover is with his hands because we got him off balance. We know that he's not as fast as me. So if I get his hands off of me, I can beat him over the top with speed, and I could accelerate over the top and widen this gap for my quarterback and make this play. It's a great job by Fuller here making this thing downfield. Let's watch it again full speed one more time. Great job being patient off the line. Take what the DB gives you and swap those hands to get some space. Let's watch it again full speed one more time. So he comes off, he kind of hesitates, bursts up field, make sure we're accelerating. I dip that shoulder and work back over the top. That's a great job here by Will Fuller. All right, so the next route we're going to be talking about is this dig route. Mainly, we're going to be talking about how a split release can get you some space, and again, how Fuller's very patient off the line, and how to work your hands at the top of the route without making it look like a push, right? So, or like a push off, right? Something that wouldn't be a flag. So you see when Fuller comes off the line here, a split release is something that you see a lot of. Another great guy who does a split release is Antonio Brown, Keenan Allen. Those are two guys that are really elite route runners that use this well. This is a great example of this by Fuller. Again, he's going to use this split release, and when we use that split release, it's like you got to get a read on how he's going to play you, and you got to push inside or outside, right? So when you split, all you're necessarily doing is just bringing your back leg up to your front leg, right? You're just bringing your back leg up to your front leg. You're splitting. You're seeing what he gives you, right? And so his first steps, obviously you can't read where his first step is, but you can see what leverage he's giving you, and he's giving you this inside release. Okay, fine. I should be able to run this dig with an inside release. I should be able to run this dig with an outside release. It really depends on how he plays you, because let's say we come off the line of scrimmage, and let's say he's lined up, and he takes away, and he jumps to the inside. You work that split release, you're just going to push off of this inside leg and push yourself back up to the outside, sell vertical, and then maybe what could you work with an outside release on a dig? You could work a throw by. If you work back over the top, you could hit him with a rocker step or a heavy indicator cut. But now let's say, again, he takes away the outside. He's probably got some kind of safety help. All right, that's fine. Let's dip that shoulder. Off that split release, it's very important that you dip that shoulder. We split. He has his hands ready to go. You see how his hands are ready to go. The hands aren't down by his waist to where he's exposing his chest, and he pushes, and he almost like dips that shoulder to work back over the top, right? Now, this DB's being very physical. So what do I got to make sure I do? I got to get those hands off me. You guys want to pretend, we're going to talk about this in the next clip as well, that this DB's got like crap underneath his fingernails and you don't want him to touch you, right? So we're constantly trying to get those hands off, constantly trying to battle those hands, constantly trying to fight. And you see at the top of the route, where does he attack? He attacks that point of control, back of the arm, back of the elbow. That's where we want to be as a receiver when we're fighting a DB's hands. You don't want to be swatting at the wrist. You don't want to be slapping his hands away. You don't want to be trying to grab that shoulder pad or push off or anything like that. You want to swat those points of control, back of his shoulder, back of his hip, back of his elbow or forearm, or the back of his arm. Those are the 3 points that I like. Those are the 3 points that I teach, right? It kind of varies, kind of depends on what you can get, right? And a lot of it's reactionary based just from doing it over and over again. That's why when you guys train, you should never neglect working hands at the top of the route and throughout the route. You should always be constantly fighting those hands, working those windshield wipers, working those points of control. So when we swat, we can get some space. And then after you get space, what do you think is important? We got to widen the distance. If you guys have been watching my videos, you guys know that I'm a big believer in that acceleration phase, right? So we come up to the top of the route, we create some separation, whether it's either with my hips, or the explosiveness of that cut, or I drop down, I get those hands off, I swat him by or I swat him off, and let's accelerate now. Let's widen that distance so he doesn't have an opportunity to make a play on this thing. Let's watch it again full speed one more time. There's a great routing, this split release, right? So splitting, dipping that shoulder, rip back up over the top, to attack that point of control, break this thing off. Now let's accelerate. Now let's use my speed to widen the distance that I just created at the top of the route. Great route. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about same idea, swatting hands throughout the route. He doesn't get the ball here, but he draws a pass interference call. So we're going to be talking about how wide step release can work, can get you some separation, and how we can build into the route with working my hand technique throughout the route, right? So a big focus on hand technique today, because that's one of the things that Will Fuller is so good at. And something that you faster receivers got to be good at too, right? And especially, let's talk about this. If you're a shorter guy, maybe out of the slot, right? But you're quicker than hell. Off the line, you're probably not going to be battling too many guys with your hands, right? Because you're just not big enough. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that's not your game. Your game ain't going to be, okay, let's sit here and let's try to go toe to toe with this guy who's 6'3", 205 pounds, or however big he is, and let's see if I can outman him. No, you're going to beat him with quickness. You're going to beat him with speed, but technique will always win no matter the size you are. So if you're getting up into this route, let's work my hands throughout the route. That's what we got to do. Work that windshield wiper, protect that rib cage, protect that chest. So let's watch this thing full speed. So he gives this little wide step to the outside, gets this DB sitting, and constantly throughout the route, he's constantly working to get those hands off, and then he draws that pass interference call. It's a great job here by Fuller. Now, when we come off the line, you see how he sets this DB up? He works this wide step jab to the outside, right? So we got to understand that, okay, if we come up to the line, you can kind of almost predetermine how this DB would play you, right? So let's say I come up to the line. Say I'm a receiver here. I come up to the line, right? And now I see that there's two high safeties, and I see that this corner is walked down. It looks like he's in a man coverage stance, man coverage eyes looking at me. I can pretty much determine that he's probably not going to try to take away the inside because he's got safety help to the inside. That's what I was referring to in the video in the past. So what's he going to do? He's probably going to try to take away the outside because he doesn't want to get burned there, because the two safeties are playing this zone over the middle. He doesn't want to get beat to the outside where we just run around him. No DB does in man coverage, so he's going to punch with his outside hand, and you see how he's trying to force you to the inside. He doesn't feel threatened to the inside because he's got zone coverage help there, right? So we understand that if I set him up with maybe this wide step to the outside, I set him up wide, I can get those hands off. I can swat that hand, and again, pretend like he's got crap underneath his fingernails, you swat with the right arm, and then what? We're off a press. It's not that, getting off a press isn't super complicated. It's just about knowing what you're going to do beforehand and being able to execute it. So I know he's got safety help. He's probably going to be jumping outside. Now, that doesn't mean he will every single time. Maybe he does try to force you to the sideline. But if he takes away that outside, just swat those hands off, take that inside release. We're off a press right now. It doesn't have to be this fancy release. Let's just get off of it so I could get up to the top of my route. And the separation comes here. The separation comes top of the route. Separation comes throughout the route, right? Throughout the stem. So again, you see how he's swatting those hands. Get those hands off. Don't be afraid to be physical so we could get some space. And if we put this thing on a good ball from the quarterback, he is wide open here, draws the pass interference. Great job by Will Fuller. Let's watch it again full speed one more time. So great job doing that wide step, understanding how this DB is going to punch, getting those hands off, and then working back upfield. It's a great job here by Fuller. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you guys have any questions, you can leave those in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And then if you guys want to improve your hands, again, guys, check out that link in the description. It says improve your hands in 30 days. I'll see you guys next time.